Hey guys, it's your boy Colin Warren, aka DJ Vu, coming at you with another music psychology video. And in this one, no original new ideas coming from you. Instead, I'm distilling some of my favorite insights from a book I just finished reading by Robert Greene called Mastery. And the book's basically about Robert going to some of the famous historical figures from famous historical creatives from Leonardo da Vinci to who else did he go through? Albert Einstein. You just pretty much insert your favorite big name creative person, and he probably covered their insights there. The reason why, at least instead of encourage you guys to read the book, which I definitely would, is that it's about a 300-page book. It's literally just nothing but text. And I know for some of you guys, not only reading a book is hard enough, but there's no pictures to go along with it. It just creates such a hassle to push through it. So, to save you guys some time and brain ache, I figure I distill some of my favorite ideas from this book to save you guys time. Plus, I figure it's good. I think someone told me, I'm forgetting who it was, but the best way to learn is to go about teaching it. So there's also a bonus point for me in this one. So, first insight that I got from this book is to be aware of praise. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys, when you're going about making your music, the main thing you're worried about when you're starting out is just, oh God, I don't want everybody tearing apart my tracks. They all suck, yada yada yada. And you're kind of worried about putting it out there because you're worried about people that dissecting the track, calling you out bad stuff, and then just really really hurting your self ego. But there's an even worse thing you need to worry about when you actually do start getting good that can be just as destructive, especially if you become really successful and you have the public eye on you. And that problem is being over, how would you put it, paying too much attention to the praise you get and not enough attention to any of the negativity you get or the feedback you get. And the problem with this is that because when you start focusing on praise too much, the way you start going about music, if you don't check how much you pay attention to the praise, is that you start making music for the ego boost of everybody being, oh, you're so great, oh, it's so good, and you start making it less so because you enjoy it. And that is a very dangerous path you can go down, as I'm sure I don't know of any guys, at least off the top of my head, who've fallen for this trap. Because it seems like most of the guys at the very, very top level who might possibly be falling under this, they seem to be saying, oh, I just really like making popular music. And, some people just really like making pop music. I think I'm probably one of those guys who fall into that battlefield. So we got to hold judgment for that. But for those of us who aren't into making certain types of music, but we tend to make the music mainly because we get the praise for it, we need to make sure to double check, make sure we have our motives for making the music correct. Because again, if you go for praise, it's a very slippery slope if someone starts saying, oh, this song actually sucks. And plus it's really inauthentic because you're just doing it for the ego boost. So that was the first point I got from the Mastery book. The second one is, sometimes, I think I've talked about it before, and some of you guys have heard it, but it's always a good reminder because I literally have to remind myself of this every day, is that sometimes when you're struggling with the problem and you really can't figure out a solution, sometimes the solution is just to take a step back and let your subconscious help you out there. And the example used by Robert in this book was the example of Einstein, where I'm not sure how many of you guys know, but his theory of relativity wasn't just come overnight, but was actually just a really, really long thought experiment he did for over 10 years. And then actually after about 10 years, the night before he discovered it, after 10 years of working on it, he's like, you know what, I give up. I just can't figure this out. I'm just going to drop it. And after saying that, he went to sleep. And upon waking up, everything just came together after 10 years of long, hard work. Now, I won't necessarily say that all your ideas were going to just suddenly cut, that you should just totally use this as an excuse to be like, oh, I don't need to work at all. I'm just going to let my subconscious do all the work and I'm just gonna lay around and all the ideas are just gonna come to me and yada yada yada. No. If you guys did notice, he put 10 years of hard work into that and really pushing it before the insight came in. So, before taking a step back, make sure you put in the work. Make sure you put in the work. That way, when your subconscious comes around, it can actually help you out. Because if you don't put in the work, it's just gonna slide off. So that's the second insight I got. The third insight. This is more of a motivational thing for the guys who are just starting out, but I thought it was a great insight anyways, is that the more you practice a certain art, the more nuanced your practice becomes. And at least when I saw this, like, oh, this makes perfect sense, because, when you're starting out, from a music production perspective, and I think for any other perspective, but for the sake of this idea, when you're starting out from the music production perspective, you're starting to try to learn, your compressors, your EQs, and it's like really, really basic stuff. You're just trying to figure out, oh, okay, how do you put notes on a grid? And it kind of happens like that for the first year or two. Whereas I think after about 3 or 4 years, at least at the stage I'm at, I'm starting to pay attention. My practice is a lot more along the lines of, oh, okay, what EQ settings, if I put a dB drop here, does it make the sound bigger, smaller? What different, like literally the tiniest minutia, what different compressors will make the sound like. So figured I'd share the interesting insight for you guys that the more you practice, the more nuanced your practice becomes. So I figured for you guys who are beginning producers, as much as literally everything just so basic at that point, if you push through it, it becomes so much more fun. So that's the third insight I want to share with you. The fourth one is I think I've talked about it before in previous music psychology videos, but it needs. I think I need to remind myself of this every day. And I'm sure if any of you guys are like me, you need to be as well. So, and that is the idea of becoming like a child when you're learning. For example, sometimes when I go into the studio, sometimes I'll be like, oh, I already know it all. I'm gonna wow everybody with my beautiful, unending knowledge of music production, and I'm just gonna blow them all away. The problem is, with that insight, you're not gonna learn anything. So, if you are interested in becoming the best producer you can be, instead of, as tempting as it is, instead of going around to production sessions and learning sessions to go in there and be like, yeah, I know everything, nah, 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 nah. Instead, take the perspective of a child who's just coming up for the first time, who really doesn't know anything, and he really becomes, as Robert said, very dependent on the person that he's teaching him. He becomes very humble, drops his guard, and he just tries to soak up as much information as possible. So, those were my 4 insights that I distilled for my second reading through this book. Hope you guys got something out of this. If not, hope you guys enjoyed the random rambling from yours truly. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed this music production psychology video, be sure to like, subscribe if you're on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, leave me a comment. I always love hearing what you guys might want me to cover next in terms of music psychology tips. Because I know some of you guys don't want to have to put in the work, and I'm always happy to because I got a little bit more free time. So yeah, if you got something you want me to cover, put it down below, and I'll try to do that. But until next time, it's been your boy Colworn, aka DJ Vu, with another music psychology video. Hope you guys have a great week. Until next time, stay classy and awesome.